Hey everyone, I'm Mine, and this is every single LEGO Ninjago Cole minifigure ever made from 2011 to 2022. This is the fourth video in my Every Ninja minifigure series, so if you want to see my reviews of every Zane, Jay, or Kai minifigure, I'll put a card on the top right corner, and let me know in the comments which ninja you want to see an Every Ninja minifigure video on next. Do you want to see Lloyd, or do you want to see Nia? And then real quick, before we get into the review, I just want to mention, because I get comments about it on every single one of these videos, by every Cole minifigure, I mean every Cole minifigure that has exclusive parts. In things like magazines and polybags, sometimes you get minifigures that are just combinations of two other Cole suits, and I'm not counting those in this video because we'd be here all day reviewing these same prints over and over again. So I won't be covering those minifigures in this video unless those minifigures have also appeared in the show in that form. But this should be every Cole suit that appeared in the show, as well as any other Cole suit that uses exclusive parts. But now, with all that being said, let's get on to the review. So of course we'll be going in chronological order with both the season and the year that the figures came out. So we'll start with the pilot figures from 2011. There was only 3 Cole figures this year, or 2 full figures and 1 micro figure, but we just have the original Cole suit, Cole DX, and then the micro figure Cole. The original Cole suit, unfortunately, I feel like is the weakest of the original suits, and you'll see this with a lot of the Cole suits early on. Cole has some of my favorite minifigures, like in recent years, but early on, a lot of his outfits just felt kind of bland. But I mean, he looks alright. I guess the brown ropes on him work a little bit better than it does on some of the other ninja. He's got his original symbol, which has its animal face, which was never really too defined as, like, what animal that is. And then, of course, he's got the classic black ninja mask, which does look really good. No back torso printing on him at all, but if we remove that hood piece, you can see there's what his original face print looks like. Pretty good original face print, honestly. Obviously, we were stuck with that one for years, but the big bushy eyebrows are iconic. And yeah, you can see absolutely nothing around the back. So, I mean, it's fine. There's nothing inherently bad about it. There's nothing I'd say like, oh, this should change. It's just bland. It's just black and gray. Not a ton going on here, but it still works for what it is. Now, DX Cole, there's 2 slight variations of, and I only have one of them. They are the exact same printing, and they're not like listed differently in Bricklink or anything, but there was the spinner version and the set version. The spinner version, which is what I have, had this more matte printing for the dragon, while the set version had like metallic gold printing. Now the metallic gold would definitely look cooler here, however you can still see the overall design in this outfit. I do think it looks good. The gold looks great on top of the black. I do like that Cole's dragon has a different head shape than all the other dragons, and of course his outfit matches that. He's got the rock blast coming out of his mouth and the tail around the bottom. This is really cool. This was a figure I wasn't actually able to get back in 2011, but I picked it up a few years ago, and it's one I really like and I'm genuinely happy to have. Once again, same face print on him, and this time around there is back torso print, where he's just got that same original symbol, and then it says Cole at the bottom. So yeah, another pretty nice one. I think I'd like it more if it had that metallic printing, but unfortunately I do not have that version. And then finally, micro figure Cole. Not a ton to say about him, but they capture his bushy eyebrows, and I think he's cute. These guys were all part of a LEGO game set that came out that year, and I remember being so excited to get it for my birthday. So yeah, no complaints from me, a ton of fun. Now moving to 2012 and Season 1 Rise of the Snakes. Here are the 3 figures that released that year. We have Kendo Cole, Cole ZX, and Energy Cole. Kendo Cole was a surprisingly very common minifigure. I think he came in like 3 or 4 sets, which is weird because there's just nothing all too special about this figure. As a kid, I always liked the idea of like the whole training suit, and I thought it was fun how they came in sets. However, the Kendo suits were just very bland. They were the same armor piece on top of the original robes. And while like the gray goes well with the black on Cole, I guess, I don't know, it's the same as all the other ones, it's just not that interesting to me. Not gonna bother taking the armor off because again, it's just the original robes underneath and you just saw those. But there's I guess how he looks with the helmet off. Then coming to Cole ZX, I mean, he's nostalgic to me, but again, I think he's just alright. I think he's probably the weakest of the ZX robes, and that's again just because the overall color scheme is bland. Obviously black is the focus and that makes sense, but then the actual design of the torso, there's not much going on. You have these sort of like shoulder pad things going on with a little bit of brown, and they continue into this gray belt down here. But yeah, I look at this and I mean, it looks good, but it's nothing all too exciting. So again, I just don't have a ton to say about it. The silver on him does look really cool though. I love the armor and then like the little star in his head. And there's how he looks with that removed. And there's his back torso print where he has that original symbol. And then we have Energy Cole, which is the first Cole minifigure in this video that I absolutely love. This guy is so cool. Now this is another one I did not get in 2012. I got him years later, but I'm so glad I finally have him because this guy's fantastic and so unique. This is, I believe, the only Cole suit to use red as one of its colors. And it's not just red, it's metallic red, which is very interesting. That's a color I never see LEGO use in printing, but it makes this guy really stand out. You can see he's got like these rock cracks coming up his legs and into his torso, and there's his original symbol there, but it's like broken up. He's got a little bit of design on that head crest on the hood, and then taking his mask off, you can see there's his face print, where it's pretty much his standard face, but with the golden metallic eyebrows and then like that red effect around it. Yeah, this guy looks really good. The printing on the face is a little bit splotchy. I'm not sure that's an issue with everybody's or with just mine, so that's a little bit unfortunate, but honestly does not take away from the figure that much for me. And then turning him around, you can see he has just more of those cracks on his back torso print. A really fantastic design. My one criticism of this guy is I wish he still came with ZX armor, but luckily we do get black ZX armor a few years later with the Deepstone robes, so you can variously customize that nowadays, even if you couldn't back in 2012. But yeah, just like all the other energy figures, this guy is fantastic. Absolutely love him. Now coming to 2013 and Season 2, The Final Battle, here is the one and only Cole minifigure released that wave, Kimono Cole, and this was the first time they really had to come up with a secondary color for Cole, because all of the ninja had black on their suits this wave, so they had to come up with something to give Cole in place of where the other ninja used their colors. So this time around they went with gray, and yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of that. I mean, it looks okay, he just looks very monocolor, which I guess is alright, but to me it's inherently just not as interesting as some of the other ninja, because the silver plus the gray plus the black, it just makes me feel like someone took these saturation sliders on this figure and turned them all the way down. It does have somewhat of an elegant look to it, which I do like, but I don't know, it's easily my least favorite of the kimono suits. And we'll see this more as we go on, but I feel like the designers didn't always know what to do when the ninja all used black suits, because it kind of left Cole out a bit. Oh, by the way, I guess I should also mention this figure is modified a little bit to be more show accurate, but in the sets he did not come with his armor piece. So there's how that looks. I mean, it still works, but obviously not as good. And then we turn him around. There you can see his back torso print where he's got that original symbol. It looks like he's actually scratched up a bit. That's unfortunate. I got this guy secondhand and I never noticed that until just now. If I'd noticed that, I probably would have asked for a refund from the Bricklink seller that he got him from, but that was like 2 years ago, so it's probably a little bit too late for that at this point. But that's okay, maybe I'll replace it some other time. And then of course, still the same face print on him. Nothing new there. Now moving to Ninjago Rebooted in 2014. There was actually only one Cole figure released that year as well. Rebooted Cole right here. However, Stone Armor Cole appeared in the show that year, and the figure itself was released in 2016. However, we're going to cover both of them here because they are both from the same season of the show. And Rebooted Cole is interesting. The Rebooted suits are some of my least favorite suits of all time, and that in large part is because of the lack of any leg printing. Because they're the only ninja suits to never use leg printing, and that's just so strange to me. It makes them inherently feel a lot less detailed. However, I have to say, Cole has a really good torso print. He uses this metallic gold, which we'll see more later on, but Cole looks great when he uses gold, and this suit is no exception. This is also the first time we're seeing orange use on him, which we'll see more in the future, and orange I think is an excellent color for Cole. And then he also brings over the ropes from his original robes. I think this torso print is actually really well designed. He also comes with a black half mask and his hairpiece for the first time, and while Cole's hairpiece wasn't as exciting to get as say like Kai's, it was still really cool for it to finally officially come in a Ninjago set. And then taking a look at his back torso print, again that original symbol's right there, and then he's got those same buckles that he had on his kimono robes, though again they're gold instead of silver. So yeah, I think this is actually a fairly solid Cole suit, it's just the lack of leg printing that holds it back. And then Stone Armor Cole is yet another gray suit. Now it makes sense because all the ninja used gray for these suits and they look great lined up, but looking at him on his own like with the other Cole suits, this seems like nothing special. He uses a lot more silver than some of the others, like the black's barely even shown in his torso, but even still, again, I'm just not the biggest fan of the whole grayscale approach. So while it was cool that they finally completed these Stone Armor suits years after Rebooted ended, this one might be my least favorite of the Stone Armor suits, though it is cool how he came with non-canon leg printing, because he also had no leg printing in the show, but this makes the figure look a little bit better, and if you want to make it show accurate, you can very easily swap it out for just plain black legs. Something else cool about this figure is he came with an all-new face print, and this face print is pretty much exactly from Ghost Cole, however it's on a yellow head instead of a sand green one, but it was still exciting to get a happy face for just yellow Cole, and while it's not super show accurate in my opinion, it's still better than nothing, so I think it's alright. And turning him around, there's a look at his back torso print, and again remember this guy came out in 2016 while this one was 2014, so there's still a 2-year gap between these two figures. Now coming to Season 4 Tournament of Elements in 2015, we have Tournament Cole and we have Jungle Cole, and the tournament suits are some of my favorite minifigures of all time, but once again Cole is probably my least favorite, because I don't know, again he just feels super bland. For one, the neck part of his torso is not printed well, you can see it's discolored compared to his arms and his face, and while that's very common nowadays, it was not nearly as common in 2015, so that's a little disappointing to see. In addition to that though, I don't know, again it's just grayscale, the legs seem boring to me. The metallic gold in his torso is alright I guess, but it's just like lettering on the torso, it's not really incorporated into the actual design. Something kind of interesting about both of these guys though is they use blue lines for detail instead of gray. That's a nice way to mix it up, and show that the gray that's used here is not like folds in the clothing, it's more like actual design on the outfit, so that's a pretty cool mix up, but yeah, Tournament Cole I can't say is like one of my favorites, it's just okay. Same face print once again, same hairpiece, same half mask, and turning around there's like his back torso print where he has his original symbol. And then Jungle Cole is better. All the jungle suits use like this brown color very predominantly, and it works great on some of them and not so great on others, but obviously brown is a color that Cole has used in the past and goes on to use more in the future, and I think it works pretty well combined with the black. He's got his original symbol in the corner that's printed on metallic gold. He's got this little throwing knife in his belt, and just the abundance of brown really makes this figure pop. Not sure how I feel about this very light gray belt that he has. It looks almost white, but I'd say he's one of the better jungle suits. And turning around, you can see once again back torso print. And I was never a huge fan of how they did the masks on these guys, but it's an interesting new take on the ZX masks. And hood removed, of course, still that same face print. Now moving to Season 5 Possession, also still in 2015, we have Deepstone Cole and Ninjago Cole. Deepstone Cole is technically not completely canon. He did wear this outfit, but he never had the shoulder pads, at least aside from a few animation errors. And then, of course, Ninjago Cole is completely non-canon, but he was meant to be a gimmick suit for the spinners. Deepstone Cole, though, is where I feel like we start to get a taste of what Cole suits are going to become. There's a lot of ideas here, but even still, the gray just really takes away from it for me. I'm not a fan of the gray on the hood here. The orange in the center of the chest looks really nice, and the metallic gold is pretty cool, but yeah, just that gray feels so boring to me. So again, I can't say this is one of my favorites, and I just don't feel like I have a ton to talk about with it. Cole suits at this time just were really bland, but I promise you, as we get later in this video, you'll see they go from like some of my least favorite suits to some of my favorites. There's Cole with that armor removed though, and there's the back torso print where he has his original symbol once again in gray, and a little circle of orange. Ninjago Cole is actually really cool. In my previous like every minifigure videos, I talked about how the Ninjago suits kind of just try to be NRG, but they were just worse. And while I still think I prefer NRG Cole to this guy doesn't feel as much like he's trying to be NRG Cole because he is distinctly different. He's got the same thing of like the cracks running up his body, and then he's got Cole's newer symbol in the center of his chest. Metallic printing here too, not on the orange cracks this time around, but on some of the stones in the center. But of course, the big difference here is the orange that's used. And this was the first Cole suit to really use orange to this extent, and you can see how good it looks combined with the black. The orange arms might be a bit much, but I love how the face looks. I really wish there was printing on the hood though. And taking that hood piece off, you can see there's the full face print where he's got like this golden design around his eyes. Yeah, that looks absolutely fantastic. Such a cool minifigure. This was actually the last Cole minifigure I needed to complete my collection, and once I got him, I was able to make this video. And then turning him around, you can see his back torso print, where once again he's got his original symbol, and there's more of that metallic gold printing. So in my opinion, still not as cool as NRG, but it's unique and distinct from it, and it does a really good job of using this color scheme, and I especially love that face print. So we're getting there with the Cole suits, but in my opinion, they still really haven't figured out how to do him perfectly. Now moving to Season 6 in 2016 with Skybound. There was only one Cole suit this wave, however there was two variants. And while they are mostly the same, I thought it would be worth like showing both of them. And that's because we have both Human Cole and Ghost Cole in this wave. Now, of course, spoilers for Season 5 Ninjago, I guess. In Season 5 of the show, Cole does become a ghost. However, none of the Season 5 sets come with a Ghost Cole minifigure. But in Season 6, he actually did get an all-new face print in one set, and then one more later in the year. But interestingly, the cheapest way to get Cole still came with a yellow face, even though Cole never had a yellow face in Skybound. So it's really weird that this figure exists at all. But anyway, let's take a look at both of these. Again, Skybound, one of my favorite suit lines, but Cole is probably my least favorite one. The gray just seems so boring to me, and the gold is a great splash of color, but there's not enough of it to save this suit for me. The sand green is interesting too, because obviously it contrasts with the suit differently than the yellow face does. But yeah, I don't know, I still don't love this one. Turning them around though, you can see there's a look at that like new armor piece that they got this wave, which I absolutely adore. And there's what the back torso print looks like. You can see it does use metallic gold, which is appreciated. And actually, you know what? The front of the torso uses metallic gold too. That's interesting, because I was under the impression only Zane and Jay used metallic colors this wave. So that begs the question, why doesn't Skybound Kai use metallic gold? Very strange. But now let's take a look at that new face print that was introduced with this wave. So there's the angry face for Ghost Cole, and while it's very similar to his original expression, I think it is infinitely better. The original expression was a face you never really saw Cole make in the show, and while this is very similar, it was tweaked just enough to make it feel like an actual expression Cole would make. So for the first time ever, this figure felt like a proper representation of the show character, and I remember really appreciating that when this figure came out. But turning him around, you can see there's his alternate face, which as I mentioned will go on to be used also on the stone armor suit, but obviously here it's on the sand green, and I think it's a really great face print, but does not fit Cole very well. That's an expression I don't feel like he's ever made in the show, so I'm just not the biggest fan of the smile they gave him, but in an accurate expression is better than none at all, and I'm glad that we finally had some sort of happy face for Cole, even if it wasn't the best, and you'll see in a moment that later in the year we did finally get a proper happy face for Cole. So yeah, overall Skybound, just feels like another Cole suit to me. One of my favorite suit lines, but easily my least favorite part of it. Also in 2016, we had Day of the Departed, and this introduced 2 new Cole figures. We have Cole in his just standard Day of the Departed suit, and then Cole RX. Now the Day of the Departed suit, again, one of my favorite suit lines. I love how they combine the 2011 and 2012 robes. However, once again, Cole is probably the worst of the bunch. And again, it's because he's just sort of bland. The rest of the Ninja do a pretty good job of like combining the aesthetics of their original and 2012 ones, but this guy's pretty much just the 2011 torso with the 2012 pants. There's a few slight differences. The ropes are a little bit bigger, the pants are a little bit more detailed, there's ropes at the bottom right there, but I feel like he doesn't capture that whole combination aspect like the others do. I really wish he had like the shoulder armor from his 2012 suit. I think that alone would have been enough to fix this figure, but without that, yeah, he doesn't seem that exciting. I do like the switching of the colors on the mask though. It's a little thing, but I do think this color combination is slightly more effective. And you can see he has the Skybound armor recolored in dark brown, which again I've never been a fan of. I think silver would have been cooler as a callback to 2012, but it's alright. There he is with his armor and mask removed, and you can see Cole finally had a new face print on his yellow head here, and this was another one that was super exciting to get. He of course now had the green scar running down the side of his face, and the angry expression I think's alright. Again, doesn't necessarily feel so much like Cole in the show, but neither did the original angry expression, so I think it's about like the same level of like quality as that one. But it's cool that they mixed it up a bit at the very least. But then if we turn him around, we have what is probably the best Cole face print ever, and that's his happy face. Now this one feels straight out of the show. This is an expression I feel like Cole made all the time. It's so much better than the other happy face we got for him, and this just captures Cole's personality so well, and I absolutely adore it for that. But yeah, face aside, this is another figure that I just feel like could have done more. Not bad by any means, but doesn't do anything exceptionally well. RX Cole though, RX Cole is very cool. For one, I think he was the first Ninjago minifigure and still one of very few to this day to have arm printing. He has these trans black arms with like the earth punch running up them, and those are such cool prints that make this figure feel so high quality. I absolutely adore that. He's got a new torso here too, which does look really nice. It's a variant on just the standard Day of the Departed robes, but you can see he's got this orange rift coming out of the center of his chest, and I guess that's like where his power's coming from. And that looks amazing too, that's a fun variant to get. But other than that, it's pretty much the same as this suit. And if we turn him around, you can see the back torso print is also different, because there's not a printed scabbard to represent the scabbard piece that's on the original. So yeah, this guy is just a new torso, but he's one that's very cool to get. And I'm sure a lot of people will say this is one of their favorite Ninjago minifigures, and I think I'd agree. He was totally unnecessary for the wave, but he's a figure I'm very happy to have. Coming to Season 7, Hands of Time in 2017, here is the one and only Cole minifigure released that wave, and once again he uses the black and gray color scheme. However, I think this is the first figure to do it really well. And this may be my favorite Hands of Time suit, though I'm not positive on that, I may still like Zane more. But yeah, this time around, the primary and secondary colors are swapped, so he uses gray as the basis for his legs and for his torso, and I think that mixes things up perfectly and looks really nice. He's still got this metallic gold and silver on his chest, which is a fun touch, and then the brown ropes and everything on his torso down to his legs, they are the perfect bit of color to not make it feel as grayscale, and I think the design of like how they're all tied up there and falling down, it just looks really elegant. And if you've watched my other like every Ninja minifigure videos, you'll know I'm not a huge fan of how the Hands of Time suits all have black armor and arms. For all the other Ninja, it's like, this doesn't fit at all, why is it here? But on Cole, obviously, black is one of his colors, and I think it works perfectly. This is the one suit where I feel like those are not out of place at all, and actually look really good and are what helps this suit look so great. So yeah, I am a huge fan of this one. Still that same face print from Day of the Departed, and there's looked his back torso print. The Day of the Departed suits are some of the most unique Ninja suits ever, and Cole is easily one of the best of the bunch. In 2017, we also had the LEGO Ninjago movie, which of course came alongside the redesign, and here are some of the Cole minifigures that we got for that movie. We of course have Cole's standard ninja suit, we have Cole's standard ninja suit without the mask, Casual Cole, and then a second, different Casual Cole from the Ninjago City Gardens. These three were released in 2017 and this guy was 2018, but because he's a part of the same line, again, I thought I'd include him here. And the standard Cole suit, I think in terms of design, is really nice. The exposed chest is a really cool touch, and this is one of the first Cole suits to use brown as his secondary color instead of gray, and I think brown just looks a lot better than gray does. He uses a lot of gold too, which I really like, and once again, he has arm printing, which is completely unexpected, but just makes this figure feel a lot nicer. There's the back torso print as well. But my one biggest issue with this guy comes in terms of the printing quality, and you can see the torso is printed a lot better than the legs are. On both these guys, the colors are printed thick, and there's the perfect amount of detail there, but then when the belt cuts off to the legs, everything's suddenly duller. and it makes it really jarring just looking at the figure as a whole, because these should be the same color as each other. Why are they so different? So I really don't like that, but other than that, I think it's fairly solid. Doesn't do anything too exceptional, like there's nothing like breathtaking here, but this was the first transition into brown, and I think that was the right choice for Cole. Also, unmasked, he uses the headband hairpiece, and while I prefer the hair down for Cole, the headband was always a very interesting part, but in my opinion, it just doesn't really fit these suits the best. And of course, the new face print was here. And Cole's the ninja whose design changed the least. He still had the big bushy eyebrows, they were just a different shape. His expression's already a little bit more exaggerated here, but turning him around, we actually have a pretty nice, just casual, happy face for him, which I feel like works for TV show Cole as well. Then we have the casual Cole from the Ninjago movie CMF, and this guy comes with the Ninjago AC/DC shirt, which that's another thing that was completely unexpected, but I'm so glad that piece exists because it's just so funny. I don't think this outfit necessarily fits TV show Cole the best, but obviously it works really well for movie Cole, and then he also comes with an all-new exclusive face print where he seems extra angry. Again, another expression I don't think works the best for TV show Cole, but that's not what this figure is. This figure is movie Cole, and I think it does a pretty good job being that. And then turning around, you can see there's a world tour list that says sold out. Doc's Casual Cole is a strange figure because it's just, why does this exist? Why did we need a second Casual Cole? I'm not complaining because I actually like this one more, I think. At least for TV show Cole, I think this one's better. But I'm just curious, like, why the designers thought, yeah, let's make another exclusive Casual Cole. But yeah, he looks really good. He just uses the standard face print that comes in the sets. Oh, and I guess I didn't mention the new hairpiece down, but I much prefer this hairpiece to Cole's original hairpiece. It's just a lot more detailed. Black jacket on this guy, another blue t-shirt, but a different one this time around. And I really like the pants on this guy too. But not a ton to say about him, just a pretty standard jacket. And it's cool that we have two variants, I just don't know why. But I think that's about it for the movie suits for Cole. Overall, they're all solid, but none of them do anything too exceptional, except for the arm printing. I do really like the arm printing on these guys. But we're not completely done with the LEGO Ninjago movie yet, because in 2017 into 2018, we did get 3 more Cole suits, which I guess could be called Ninjago movie suits. None of these really appeared in the movie, but we have the updated Kendo Cole, white Woo Crew training robes Cole, and then black Woo Crew training robes Cole. Kendo Cole is not an official minifigure, but we did get the helmet piece as a part of the LEGO Ninjago movie line. So this is a custom figure designed to match the official Kendo Kai and Lloyd. So if Kendo Cole had come to set, this would be what he looks like. Now the updated Kendo suit is much better than the original. It uses the same pieces, but I think the black armor is a lot cooler than the gray is. And the fact that all the helmets are actually distinct too. You can see there's a brown circle to indicate that this is Cole's suit. That looks really good. However, I don't feel like this matches with his actual movie robes that well. Now, the idea behind the release of this part is that you can put on any robes that you want. I think that's fine. But on the movie robes, yeah, he just kind of looks like a blacksmith. It doesn't really make sense to have all this armor on and then just be sleeveless. And then the Woo Crew training suits are fine. They're just meant to be a sort of generic training suit that all the ninja could have. But they never appeared in the movie, never appeared in the show, and I'm not sure why we got 2 different colors for them. But they both look alright. I like the dragon design on the back of the black one, and then the Woo design on the back of the white one. And they both came with his headband hairpiece. But again, nothing too special going on here. Fairly generic figures all around. Now coming to 2018 and Season 8, Sons of Garmadon. Here are the 2 or 3 Cole minifigures released this year. We have Cole's just standard SOG robe, the standard SOG robe except with the little backpack for Baby Woo, and then we have Spinjitzu Master Cole. Now Cole's generic SOG robe I think is really good. The printing quality is not the best, so the yellow is unfortunately a little bit discolored, but now we're in the era where every figure is discolored, so I can't really complain about it too much. Now, I think this one captures Cole's colors really well. I do think I prefer the Cole suits later on that use a lot of orange, but this suit uses orange, gray, and brown, and I feel like they all tie together so nicely. So he's got these little tiny dots all over his torso and legs like all the other SOG suits have, just makes them feel very detailed. Love like the little orange trim on his robes. And then his mask is the same as his movie one, but with the gold emblem on his hood swapped out for orange. He has the Skybound armor piece once again, though this time around it's in gunmetal gray, and I really love the sleeveless design here. This figure was the start of Cole going sleeveless on more suits, and I think it fits him really well. Because even if the actual suit isn't always the most colorful, the yellow provides a nice contrast with the black to again make the suits feel less monochrome. Still using the same face print from the movie, but if I turn him around, you can see there's the back torso print looks like, where it's actually got a little bit of silver. So yeah, definitely not my favorite SOG suit, but far from my least favorite. I really like him. And then a slight variation is, in one set, he came with this little bag to hold Baby Woo, and I think that's cute, so I keep these guys separate in my collection. I have one with the armor and one with Baby Woo, because I mean, look how adorable that is. But other than that, all the printing is exactly the same. And then we have Spinjitzu Master Cole. Now, if you've seen my other, like, every Ninja minifigure videos, you'll know I hate the Spinjitzu Master suits. I feel like they're so lazily designed. And while that's true for the most part, Cole is one of the better ones. They all reuse the legs from the black Wukru robes, which inherently is just a little bit boring to me. But his torso design's alright. It feels a little bit messy, but you can see he's got some cracks on it, some rocks coming out, and the cracks themselves are like a metallic orange, which is pretty cool. And then his hood is just his movie hood with nothing changed. And there's a look at his back torso print. So I mean, it's alright. Better than some of the others, but again, I feel like the designs on these guys are just too goofy. It doesn't have that cool, like, elemental feel that Erujitsu and Energy had. It just feels very cartoony to me. And then it just feels like reused parts. The only exclusive part here is the torso, and LEGO was charging $10 for these guys, so I've never been a fan. And while this is one of the better ones, it's still not great. Also in 2018, we had Season 9 Hunted, and here are the two Cole minifigures that were a part of that wave. We have Hunted Cole and we have Dragon Master Cole. Now, Hunted Cole is such a cool design in the show, but this is a figure that is absolutely ruined by terrible printing quality. Because a huge part of the suit is the exposed chest right there, and you can see it connects directly to the arm, but it's a completely different color than the arm. It's just not printed on thick enough, and I have two of this figure, both of them have this issue, and I'm pretty sure almost, if not all, the figures have this issue. This is when LEGO's printing issues really started to show, and they do not get any better from here. That's so disappointing to see, because this has the potential to be such a cool figure, because I absolutely love the design otherwise. It's pretty much just as SOG robes, but like battered down and torn up, and that's such a fun idea, and again, looks fantastic in the show, but man, does that terrible printing just ruin it for me. There's a look at that back torso print. Again, printing quality really takes away from it, but it's a really well done design and concept. Also, the hood on this guy was different in two different sets. In one set, he uses the movie hood, as you see here, and in another set, he uses the SOG hood, as you see on this guy. I forget which one's present in the show, but they're both very similar, and this is just the one I had together. And then Dragon Master Cole is probably the best of the Dragon Master suits. These are not canon, but they put the ninja in these sort of like aviator type suits, and they all shared the same leg printing, but their torso prints were exclusive. Now, these guys were $15 gimmick suits, which is why I didn't get any of them the year they came out. And while I maintain that $15 for a gimmick is way too much money, at the very least these figures were cooler than the Spinjitzu Masters. Because I mean, you don't need this to be a Cole minifigure, you can just take the head off and this is just a nice looking aviator suit. So yeah, I like this guy, it's weird that we have it, but he's just another fun one to have. The touch of orange is nice and I like the abundance of brown, especially on the robes underneath. And then turning him around, you can see his back torso print where he's got like this board, and there's like graffiti of the dragon symbol on it. So yeah, he's honestly a pretty cool figure, but nowhere near worth the price LEGO was charging for him when he came out. Now coming to 2019, we have March of the Oni / Legacy 1 Cole. Legacy suits are some of my least favorite suits ever, and Cole I think is one of the better ones. But I still don't love this suit. I guess because it's Legacy, they wanted to go back to the roots and make a very monocolor suit. But yeah, in my opinion, there's just way too much black here. I wish they did a little bit more with the printing. The armor underneath the robes is an interesting concept, but it just feels kind of bland to me. The orange is a nice touch, and I like the brown on like the mask, but it really just doesn't flow that well in my opinion, and just isn't one of my favorites. It's also dark. I wish the colors popped a little bit more. Or like this golden dragon was incorporated more into the torso. I don't know. Yeah, this one's just not one of my favorites. The new Legacy hoods were cool though, and the back torso print on this guy is actually very good. This is one of those figures where I definitely prefer the back torso print to the front, but one more look at the front. It's alright. Not the worst Cole suit ever, but just like the rest of the Legacy suits, nothing all too special. Also in 2019, we had Season 11 or Secrets of Forbidden Spinjitzu, and here we have just Cole's regular Season 11 suit as well as his Forbidden Spinjitzu suit, and these are ones that I have mixed feelings on. In my opinion, 2019 was not a great year when it comes to ninja suits. I don't really like many of them. And the 2011 Cole suit I have very mixed feelings on. I love the hood on this guy. This might be the best Cole hood we've gotten yet. The orange up there looks great, and I love the black for the symbol to tie in with like the rest of the hood. And then the orange belt underneath really pops, and you still have that small touch of brown like with the ropes on the legs. And then the gray is used for detail here too. However, I just find the torso on this guy really bland. And I know bland's a word I use a lot, but come on, there's just so much empty space here. He's got like the strap around his back to hold something, but the actual rope itself is not that interesting to me. And the fact that this is the Cole suit that like carried the entire Wildbrain saga, I can't say it's one of my favorites. If that torso was different, this might be one of my favorite Cole suits of all time, but as it stands, that torso really holds this figure back in my opinion. He does use the new armor piece that was introduced with this wave, and I think that fits him really well. And on his back torso print, you can see he's got a little tiny food pouch, but there's still just not a ton going on. Then with Forbidden Spinjitzu Cole, this guy's exactly the same figure, except he doesn't have an armor piece, and then he has this Forbidden Spinjitzu like fiery hood. These are super cool variants to get, and I absolutely love this one. It looks like he's got trans black, which fades into trans orange, and it's a more subtle one compared to to some of the others, but I think it looks absolutely great. No complaints to me, and it's just a really fun piece to have, but I don't have a ton more to say about it because, yeah, other than that, it's just the same exact minifigure between the two of them. Now moving to Prime Empire Season 12 in 2020, we have Cole and we have Avatar Cole. Cole, I don't know how to feel about. I think I like this figure, but it's a very interesting design. The blue on him looks surprisingly good. Again, what Cole needs is color, and a lot of his suits don't have it, but the blue is effective at providing that color and gives him that whole, like, digital feel. And the orange belt looks really good, too. I'm just not sure how I feel about this, like, camo-like design on this armor. I think I like it. I think it looks good, and it's pretty cool how it's metallic. But yeah, it's a very interesting design. This is also the first and only time the Ninja used white as a secondary color, so it's nice to see that Cole, like, isn't the one that has to give up his main color this time around. And the white fits him really well as a secondary color, and I would love to see it more in the future in, like, a non-digital suit. Of course, just like all the other Prime Empire figures, he's got the life bar at the top connecting out the back of his armor. And there he is with his armor and hood removed so you can see his full face print, where, interestingly, his, like, angry mouth face is not a Cole face, that's from Lloyd. Not sure why they use, like, a Lloyd's expression here for Cole, but it works, I guess. And then turning him around, we do have an all-new proper Cole face. And I don't think it necessarily fits Cole's personality the best, but it's cool to get an alternate happy face in the TV show design. So I do really like that. And then just more blue dots out the back, nothing too special going on here. So yeah, fairly solid figure all around, I think. Unique, at least, and I think that's what's most important 9 years in. And then Avatar Cole is mostly just pieces reused from LEGO City, so I'm not going to spend a ton of time on him. But you can see he's got a flannel jacket on and a mustache, and then he just carries 2 pickaxes as accessories. It's a shame we didn't get an all-new Avatar figure like some of the other Ninja did, but I'm glad they at least gave him this instead of giving him nothing at all. But yeah, there's nothing all too special here. The mustache piece is always nice to get though, especially if you don't have it yet. And it is a very funny figure, just nothing all too new. Now, also in 2020 we had Master of the Mountain, which of course was Cole's season, and this is, in my opinion, where Cole figures started to get really, really good. This Cole suit is fantastic. Now, of course, Master of the Mountain, the aesthetic here is they're all dressed like knights, so this isn't necessarily a ninja suit, but it does look really good. I love the all-new leg printing here with, like, the bronze belt and the armor underneath it. That looks amazing. And then my favorite detail about this guy is the little retcon that they did. So with Cole's original symbol, it was never really clear what animal it was supposed to be. I believe technically it was supposed to be a gorilla, but it was never really made that obvious. With this suit, though, it kind of looks like they retconned that to make it a lion instead. Because you can see there's this little lion face up the top right here, and that's sort of in the shape of Cole's original symbol. And that's meant to go alongside with his shield, and that's the shield of the Geckles. So that provides some really cool extra lore to the show that's not, like, explicitly stated, but it implies that the original symbol for Earth was created by the Geckles, and by proxy, that's why Cole and his mother both wore that symbol. That's really cool, and I love that a lot. It's probably my favorite part of this suit, but the rest of it looks really good too. I think gold is an excellent color for Cole. It contrasts with the black really well, and doesn't make him feel as monocolor. Taking his armor off there, you can see his full torso print, and there's his back torso print. Nothing all too special going on back here. And the only thing I kind of don't like about this is how you can clearly see the Season 11 robes underneath it, but I feel like that really doesn't matter too much because the rest of the suit does look so good. So really no complaints from me. And then Spinjitzu Burst Cole is alright. I think the torso and head are really good, but then the legs and mask are just reused, and that's a little bit disappointing. Obviously Burst Cole was super cool in the show, but this is nothing like the show appearance. The legs I feel like are really out of place for this, like, elemental design. Why is there so much brown down here? That doesn't match the colors of everything else. And the hood works, but I would have preferred something new that matches everything a little bit better, or maybe some printing up there. The torso, though, is really cool. I love how he's shirtless and he has, like, this crackling rock design coming down. And then if we take his hood off, you can see he's got more of those cracks around his face, and this is the first time we have, like, an elemental powered up version of Cole in his new design. So that was very cool to get. Turning him around, taking a look at his back torso print, you can see he's got, like, a dragon or a lion face. I can't exactly tell, but he's got more of those, like, earth cracks down in the back. So yeah, Master of the Mountain was a pretty solid way for Cole. This guy's fantastic, and this guy could be better, but has some really good parts. And to round out 2020 and transition into 2022, here are the Legacy Cole figures. This one's just the same as Legacy 1 Cole, except now he has an armor piece. Not gonna spend any time on him, but that is another figure that released. And then we have these two. This guy was released in 2021, this guy was released in 2022, and these are the Legacy 2 robes that combine the Rebooted and Tournament robes. And most of you guys probably already know the story between the difference between these two, but if you don't, it's a very small thing. This guy released in 2021, and they actually accidentally left a typo on the torso. We have letters written in Ninjago right here, and it's supposed to say the word Master, M-A-S-T-E-R. However, on the original version from 2021, they accidentally wrote Manter, M-A-N-T-E-R. Manter doesn't mean anything, but it was obviously a typo, so when the figure was released in 2022, they fixed that to say Master instead. So this is a very small, slight variant, but it's a very funny one to have. In terms of the actual figure itself, though, I absolutely love it. Obviously, as I said, sleeveless fits Cole so well, the yellow contrasts really well with the black. And while the torsos are a little bit monocolor, I appreciate them at least bringing a little bit of orange, though I wish they had taken a little bit more from the Rebooted robes, because I think those did a pretty good job of incorporating multiple colors. The pants this time around, though, are really fantastic. These are the same ones that you just saw on Spinjitzu vs. Cole, but unlike on him, I think they fit this guy really well, because the brown of that belt does provide a nice splash of color, and you have more of that orange down here. But even all that considered, Cole's probably one of the weakest of the Legacy 2 suits. Still love the Legacy 2 suits, one of my favorite suit lines ever. And funnily enough, you could see his original symbols around his back, and that time it is more gorilla-like. But regardless, I also love the orange featured right here. So yeah, these two are still pretty great figures, but in my opinion, they don't do anything exceptional to like set themselves apart. And now moving into Ninjago Legacy 2021, here are the 3 Legacy Cole figures that we got. We have Versus Cole, yet another casual Cole, and then Golden Cole. Versus Cole is surprisingly really good. I absolutely love the orange used here. This is one of the first, if not the first, Cole suit to not have black hands, but the orange hands look so different compared to anything else, and they just provide that perfect splash of color, and I love how they look combined with everything else. You can see around the back of his torso it says Versus on this little orange square. I love the orange half masks too, and then the torso and legs are really fantastic as well. Very like tattered design, it looks like he has like dirty mummy robes underneath. Then there's the orange belt hanging down, he's got the letter C for Cole right here, and then the brown wraps around his legs. Yeah, this is a genuinely beautiful Cole minifigure. This guy came in a $10 set, and he wasn't even the only figure in that set, but the Versus figures were genuinely just so unique even though they're not canon to anything, and I'm so happy they exist because they're just so different. I really love this one. This casual Cole is nothing new, it's just reused parts from other themes. He's got a little guitar in his shirt and then some dirty pants. I guess it's cool to get a casual Cole for people who missed out in the first 2, but this is easily the worst of the bunch. Because it's not show accurate, not movie accurate, no exclusive parts, so it's a figure that I'm really never gonna touch ever. It's okay for what it is, I guess it fits Cole well enough, but in my opinion it's just nothing too special. And then Golden Cole is absolutely fantastic. I love this figure. My one complaint with him is on the mask. I don't know why they use gunmetal gray instead of black. Black is obviously Cole's main color, and the fact that there's no black parts on this entire figure is a little bit strange to me. I get that they're maybe going for a more metallic look, but gunmetal gray is explicitly Nia's color, not Cole's, so I'm not the biggest fan of that part. But other than that, the golden Master of the Mountain armor looks amazing. I love the torso design too, with like the armor underneath, and then like the golden rocks coming up the sides of his torso. It all just looks really fantastic. The bronze at the bottom too that they all have, I think works really well with Cole's overall design. And then turning around and taking the armor off, once again, he's got those brown robes down there, which I think fit him perfectly. And then he's got the Ninjago letter C right here in metallic silver, with more of those like golden rocks coming down his back. So yeah, I think this guy's really cool overall. My one complaint is I just wish there was more black used. But other than that, I think the designers did a really fantastic job. Also in 2021, we had Season 14, which was The Island and Seabound. And across those 2 waves, we got 1 Cole minifigure each, being Island Cole and Scuba Cole. Now these are 2 of the best Cole minifigures of all time, in my opinion. Both these guys are just so genuinely fantastic, and the designers really outdid themselves with these. Island Cole I absolutely love. We see the return of the movie headband hairpiece, however this time around the brown headband has been swapped out for orange. The orange pops a lot more than the brown ever did, and I feel like really helps this figure stand out a lot more. Then the torso uses a lot of gray, which normally I wouldn't like, but I think they actually do it really perfectly here. For one, I love the slight scuff marks that are there. You can see there's like metallic scratches on the printing, and that's not like me having a scuffed up figure, that's intentionally put there to show that it's like battle armor. And I think that looks really good, as well as the metallic C symbol in the center. The gray's used tastefully too, you can see it comes over into the arms, and I don't feel like those are out of place at all. And then there's this color, which I guess is this sort of greenish tan color, and I believe we've seen that a little bit in former suits, but I think it fits in really well here, and obviously matches the whole island vibe, and then the orange belt ties in with the headband at the top, and altogether just makes an overall beautiful minifigure. There's how he looks with everything removed, and there's the back torso print, which once again looks really good. Uses a lot more of that tan color, and he's got his symbol in the center, but once again there's more of those like battle scuff marks. Such a cool design for a figure. I wish he wore this a little bit longer in the show, because it's really well made. Speaking of things he barely wore in the show, Scuba Cole, which is just straight up not canon at all, is somehow one of my favorite Cole suits. They went all out with the orange on this one, which I really love. It reminds me a lot of like the Spinjitzu suit, though obviously a very different vibe. And this is very cool. We get more of this in 2022 as well. And I just love seeing Cole embrace so much of the orange. Very mechanical looking design, lots of this like metallic silver on the torso. And then you've got that same tan color on the belt that hangs down. Once again, you have scuff marks, but this time around it's like paint chips. That's still a really cool touch to make this suit feel a little bit more lived in, a little bit more realistic. And then he's got little flippers at his feet as well. The scuba tank piece, of course, is a single part. And if you remove it, there's how Cole looks, so you get a full look at his torso own leg print. Yeah, my favorite part about this guy is definitely the chipping paint with the metallic silver underneath. That's just such a fun idea. And turning him around, you can see there's a lot more of that like metallic design combined with the orange. Orange just fits Cole so perfectly, and I'm really glad they're finally embracing it. And if there is future Cole suits, I hope they use more orange as well. Now, coming to 2022, we were introduced to Ninjago Core, which seems to have replaced Ninjago Legacy, and with it came the Core Cole minifigure. Now, Core Cole I actually really like. Just like Scuba Cole, he uses a large abundance of orange, which I think looks absolutely fantastic. Though the one weird part about this guy and all the other Core suits is their pants are all different colors than their torsos, and I'm not sure if I'm the biggest fan of that, so Cole uses this like dark tan color, which I mean works alright for him, at least when you're looking at him from the front. But when you're looking at him from like side angles, I always feel like it's really strange. It feels like he's wearing khakis or something. So I don't know if that was the best choice, but it was something unique and creative, which I guess is a good thing. The orange though is easily the best part. I love the rocky design coming down the side, the little armor underneath. I wish there was a bit more of it on this side because it does feel kind of bland on this side. Not sure if I'm the biggest fan of the whole asymmetry, but it's the look they're going for with Core, so I guess it's alright. And there's how he looks with everything removed. And there's look at that back torso print where he's got the word ninja written in jargon, just like all the other Core suits have. So yeah, I actually really like this one. If it wasn't for the pants, this might be one of my favorite ninja suits ever, but even still, I think it's pretty solid. It's creative at the very least. And now we come to Season 15, Ninjago Crystalized. There's a total of 3 Cole minifigures released this wave. Here are the first 2. We have Cole's just standard Crystalized suit, and then we have an all-new Golden Cole. Now, the standard Crystalized Cole I really love. This pretty much just feels like Island Cole, but with a hood. He doesn't have the whole like armored design, but instead he's got these gray robes. However, I feel like they incorporated the orange perfectly here, and then he's also still got that dark tan color. This does a great job of incorporating all of Cole's different colors, while also not feeling very monochrome. The only part I don't like about this guy is the white on his symbol up here. All the ninja this wave have that, and just, I don't know, I don't feel like that's the best color. I feel like black maybe would have looked a little bit better. But the rest of it is so detailed. I love the little dots too. They remind me a lot of the SOG robes. And the metallic silver at the base of the belt too is really cool. Turning this guy around, this is back torso print. This is the case for all of just the generic Crystalized suits, but I'm not the biggest fan of this either. Like, it looks good, don't get me wrong, but this top bit kind of looks like it's a puffy jacket, which kind of takes me out of the whole ninja suit vibe. But that's a very minor thing. Ignoring that, I like how it has the symbol in the center. I like the little scuff marks on it. And that's covered up most of the time anyway. The front looks really good, and that's what matters. And then Golden Cole. I don't remember what my initial opinion of this guy was when I like reviewed all the sets, but now that some time has passed, I absolutely love this one, and in fact, it might even be my favorite of like these Golden Ninja from this wave. The gold just looks so pretty contrasted against the black. I love the little orange dots in the center of the gold, and I just love how completely armored he is. On some of the other ninja, they only have armor in a few spots, and while Cole still has a bit of his original torso exposed, there's armor all over him, down his legs, on his arm, on his hood obviously. And taking that hood off there, you can see that's what the full torso print looks like, and turning him around, once again, back torso print equally as good. He's got that C symbol back there, and more of that just like golden armor extending down to his arms. I absolutely love this too. LEGO went all out for the figures for this wave, and I genuinely really don't have many complaints with either of them. Some of my favorite Cole figures ever. And then the final Cole minifigure I have is Golden Dragon Cole. Now, just like all the other Golden Dragon figures, this guy is absolutely amazing. I love all the trans orange used. That's such a cool look. The way the metallic gold on the torso shines in the light is so beautiful. And then that like broken up rocky design from his legs that continues up into his torso, that transition is super smooth. This is probably the best like powered up elemental Cole we've gotten. I genuinely think this is probably better than the energy Cole that we just looked at, because it's just so much more detailed. It represents the element of earth so perfectly. And unlike some of the other Golden Dragon suits, I think the gold of the actual dragon works pretty well with earth. He of course has these large dragon wings out the back, and these are really cool aside from the giant blue Technic pins to attach them, but ignoring them, if you don't look at them, they do look really cool and are probably a ton of fun to play with. Transparent arms, of course, just like our Cole had. And there's how it looks with the wings removed, which this itself looks really good as well. Turning him around, there's a look at what his back torso print looks like. And wow, I love that. Once again, the letter C written there in jargon, but it's made of like these crumbled rocks surrounded by lava, and then you just have more crackling stone around it. Such a cool minifigure in every front. And while he's not my favorite of the Golden Dragon Ninja, he's definitely up there. The designers once again did a fantastic job. And so, that is every LEGO Ninjago Cole minifigure from 2011 to 2022. Let me know in the comments which one was your favorite and which one was your least favorite. For me personally, I think Island Cole was probably my favorite, but as for my least favorite, I'm not sure. There's none that really stood out to me as like super bad. There's obviously ones that reuse parts like Woo Crew Cole and like the Ninjago City Gardens Cole, but I don't think it's fair to rank those as my least favorite because they are just reused parts. But I felt like Cole was an interesting one to look back on because I think he has the least amount of suits that I like absolutely love. However, he probably also has the least amount of suits I actually don't like. As I said a lot during this video, I feel like a lot of Cole suits are very bland. They don't don't try to do very much, so as a result they don't end up being very exciting, but also they're very safe, so they're not that bad either. I think especially in recent years, Cole figures have become very good, because the past 2 years, every single Cole figure has been an absolute banger. But early on, I think they were really finding their footing, because a lot of those ones are fairly weak. But of course, those are just my thoughts. I'm very curious to hear what you guys think in the comments below. Let me know your favorite and your least favorite. As I said at the beginning of this video, let me know which ninja you want to see in every ninja minifigure video on next. Do you want to see Lloyd, or do you want to see Nia? But as for this video, I think it's about gonna do it. So thanks for watching, everybody. If you enjoyed, please press like, subscribe to the channel if you're new. I do Lego and Ninjago videos just like this one almost every day, so if you subscribe, you'll be the first to see them. Thanks for watching, everybody, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye!